You're watching Fugitive Redeye, and welcome to another episode of Redeye Recommends, which is a sub-series of Redeye Raw. So back in October, I did a recommends video for Halloween movies, right? Movies that I recommended you watch for Halloween. And so I thought it's only fair I do the same thing for Christmas, because those are the two best holidays objectively, right? No, I'm just... Objectively is a whole other argument, right? But no, those are my two favorite holidays. In that order, Halloween, then Christmas, although in all honesty, they're very close. So the first Christmas movie I'm going to recommend today is the all-time classic, my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart. This is a movie from, I believe it was around 1946, I think is the year it came out. I'm not looking this up at the moment, so if I'm wrong, feel free to fact-check me on that in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it was 1946. But that's the one that everything parodies when they have, like, the guardian angel showing you what the world would be like if you hadn't, been born. And it's about this guy named George Bailey who gets really depressed and wants to kill himself. And he thinks that the town would be better off if he'd never been born. And so then, his guardian angel Clarence shows him what the world would be like if he had never been born, and shows him that life is worth living. Although it is a Christmas movie, it basically tells the entire life of George Bailey, so it's not strictly a Christmas movie. It's sort of an encapsulation of the life of George Bailey, which is a very sweet and wholesome movie. I love it. It's very fun. Has some good humor to it. Very wholesome and just... It's got that kind of charm that old movies tend to have. It has that X factor you can never quite define that you only get with classic cinema. And since I mentioned that, I might as well mention my favorite parodies of it that are probably worth checking out for Christmas too. There's the Beavis and Butthead Christmas special. It's a Miserable Life, specifically, is what that one's called. And it's basically the opposite, where Butthead's guardian angel wants to show him that the world actually is better off if he kills himself. Another great parody and rendition of it is the Rugrats version, the one where Chucky wishes that he had never been born. And then his guardian angel shows him, how the world would be. I can't remember specifically what that episode was called, but it's a Rugrats one. And I want to say the title was probably somehow a play on the phrase "It's a Wonderful Life," but I don't remember. It might have been like Chucky's Wonderful Life or something. I don't know. It's from like season 2 or 3 of Rugrats. But it's a good one. Now, the other classic that everybody always thinks about is, A Christmas Carol, the original OG Christmas story, right? And there are many versions of that, but in all honesty, my particular favorites tend to not be traditional versions. I really like the All Dogs Go to Heaven version, the An All Dogs Go to Heaven Christmas Carol. I really like that one, because it has, like, fire imps and, like, this giant dog whistle thing in it, and it's fun. I like it. I like the All Dogs Go to Heaven series. Obviously, the first movie's the best one, but I do feel like the sequels, specifically the second one and the Christmas Carol one, were both pretty decent. There was also a TV series, which I have yet to see. But yeah, the All Dogs Christmas Carol is a great version. But I would also say a version that I like even more than that is Blackadder's A Christmas Carol, which is a TV special for the show Blackadder, obviously. And essentially, it's again kind of the opposite of what you'd normally expect. So kind of like how Beavis and Butthead kind of did the opposite, where they wanted Butthead to kill himself. This version is completely different in that... So for those of you unfamiliar with Blackadder, Edmund Blackadder, the main character of the series, has always been kind of an unscrupulous bad guy, only looking out for number one, being completely and totally Machiavellian and basically stepping on whoever he needs to get where he wants to be. And obviously there are multiple Edmund Blackadders because each Blackadder season takes place in a different time period. But they also insist that it's the same family line, and they're always played by Rowan Atkinson. So it's basically the same character, just later on in the bloodline, right? But The Christmas Carol is a strange break from tradition in the Blackadder bloodline, where we get Ebenezer Blackadder, who's a wholesome, wonderful, nice person. He's sickeningly good, as the theme song says. He's so good that people walk all over him and take advantage of his goodwill all the time. And so a ghost shows up, and I can't remember what he calls himself. But he shows him, Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. But when he shows him Christmas past, it's the previous Blackadders. And he's starting to see, oh, bad guys have all the fun. Ebenezer Blackadder starts to see that his ancestors all would make personal gains through unscrupulous means. He didn't see how they all failed ultimately in the end, which is what happened. Well, actually, no. Blackadder III does not fail. He actually becomes King of England, essentially. But Blackadder 1 and 2 died, obviously. Spoilers. But they didn't even mention Blackadder 1 because, like I said, for some reason that one's really not that popular in the UK. But anyway, so then he has the ghost show him Christmas future, if he stays good, how his descendants will end up. And if he stays good, his descendants end up slaves to Baldric. And if he's evil, his descendants end up Emperor of the Universe. So, with a nice change of pace, the special ends with him basically turning into Blackadder as we know and love him, where he's an evil, heartless, Machiavellian, callous motherfucker, and he begins treating everyone like shit. Ironically, poor timing, Queen Victoria was going to give him an award for being a lovely person, but he treats her like shit, so she doesn't give it to him. Another great Christmas movie is the original 1970s version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the cartoon. I think it's great. I think you should watch that. I also think the Jim Carrey version is actually a pretty decent version. They're different movies, for sure, but I would recommend checking them both out. I have not seen that Illumination version, nor do I intend to. But I really like the 70s version, and I really like the Jim Carrey version. If you're unfamiliar with The Grinch, it's about this angry green guy who lives up in the hills, sees these happy people called the Who's down in Whoville, and he doesn't like that they're happy, so he steals Christmas by stealing all their presents and stuff. It's a good movie. It's Dr. Seuss, obviously. So, I mean, it's quality. And the Jim Carrey one doesn't exactly get a whole lot of love, but it doesn't get as much hate as its follow-up, The Cat in the Hat. I think that's underrated too, but that's another topic for another day. But another good one, another great Christmas movie, is technically not even a Christmas movie. It's a Hanukkah movie. And this one gets a lot of hate, but I fucking love it. So it's a movie called 8 Crazy Nights, and it's an Adam Sandler animated movie that most people tend to hate. And I've never quite understood why. I get that the character is an unlikable prick for a lot of the earlier parts of the movie. And the movie itself definitely has him be very cruel and callous. But the end of it is all this story of redemption, and he tries to make things right. I'll admit he was a complete and total shit in the first half, but I don't know, I've never understood the hate it gets. I think it's a very fun movie. It's very over-the-top and raunchy, and maybe that's why people don't like it. They think it's like, just gross and offensive for the sake of being gross and offensive. But I love it. I think it's a great movie. And it's the only Hanukkah movie I've seen, so there you go. Some great TV Christmas specials. There's Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire. That's the first full episode of The Simpsons. I think it's fantastic. It's a classic. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Obviously, there's the Beavis and Butthead one I mentioned earlier, but there's also another Beavis and Butthead one, which is a parody of A Christmas Carol, and that one's pretty good, too, with Beavis as Scrooge. So that one's really good, too. I think South Park has some of the best Christmas specials. There's Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh, there's Merry Christmas Charlie Manson, there's Woodland Critter Christmas, which some people don't like because it's really fucking mean-spirited and dark and violent, but it's South Park, so why do those people suddenly have a problem with it there? You know what I mean? Like, it's South Park, what the fuck? Family Guy's Road to the North Pole is pretty great. Futurama's An Xmas Story is fantastic. So there's lots of good Christmas specials out there, too. I've seen the Star Wars Holiday Special 4 times. Why? I don't know. I personally think it's so bad it's good, but I'm definitely in the minority on that. Most people say it's too bad to even be so bad it's good. As far as Christmas music, there's always Carol of the Bells by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Great fucking song. Love it. It's the most badass Christmas song ever. I've got the Mr. Hanky's Christmas Classics Christmas album, so I'll probably be listening to that fairly soon. But yeah, those are some good movies. I'll say it just in case I don't get around to it now, but Merry Christmas to everyone. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy whatever you do celebrate. If you don't celebrate, I mean, have a good day, have a good month anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I hope you all celebrate something. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's Christmas. For most people I know, it's Christmas. But if it's Hanukkah or like Ramadan or whatever, then go for it. Have a good one, whatever it is. Obviously, Christmas is just around the corner, and I'll definitely do a what I got for Christmas video, but I might try to do another video on Christmas or something. But no promises on that. So in case I don't see it, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy whatever other holidays you celebrate. Have a good one. Toodles.